What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we are back again for NXT Review for March 28th, 2018. We are on the road to WrestleMania on WrestleMania weekend with NXT Takeover. Just a week from Saturday, we did get that huge announcement tonight about the North American Championship. We will get to that in a second. We also had the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic semifinals matches between Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong versus Sanity, and the Authors of Pain versus the Street Profits. And Andrade and Almas and Aleister Black had sort of a confrontation, more of a beatdown to one of the contender got beat down for pretty much the better part of about a few minutes. But the show started off with a great way to start the show, in my opinion. They went to an earlier today, which of course we all know how these are all taped beforehand, but it's always nice to have this nice little continuity. And they showed Tommaso Ciampa arriving at Full Sail, and he's getting booed from the crowd. He tells some guy to park his car for him. He walks a little bit, he runs into Regal and says, "Hey Regal, what kind of place are you running here? You have Johnny Gargano he comes here to my place of work. He comes to Performance Center when I'm trying to work out. He comes to my house." They actually put a video up on YouTube of, I guess, Johnny Gargano coming to his house. I love how they've been doing this. Regal says, yes, Johnny Gargano has gotten a little out of hand lately, so at NXT Takeover New Orleans, it will be Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in an unsanctioned match. But if Johnny Gargano wins, he gets his job back. If Johnny Gargano loses, he is banished from NXT for good. Now, this match, they could go either way, because they could have Tommaso Ciampa beat Gargano, and then Gargano just goes to the main roster, or Gargano beats, because he said he's banished from NXT. He's not banished from WWE on the whole, just NXT, because we do feel like NXT is not the same thing, that not the same portion of WWE. It's its own entity, that WWE just is like the parent company. See, this is what WWE needs to do. With other things, they need to take like SmackDown and give it to like Shane or somebody and have them go off and do their own thing, and make WWE just focus on Raw. You have NXT with Triple H, you have SmackDown, which would be something else run by Shane and whoever else, and WWE is just the parent company. So you have Raw, NXT, and whatever else. But anyway, so you will see Johnny Gargano. This one is a toss-up to me, because it could be Johnny Gargano wins this match and gets his championship, not his championship, but his job back, or he loses and then you just see him on the main roster a couple, not I don't say the night or 2 nights after WrestleMania. I'd say a couple weeks. I'd say Backlash would probably be cool if they wanted to. I knew JD posted his video for his SmackDown review and said if Shane McMahon cannot go, which has not been determined if he can or not, and if he has diverticulitis and an actual hernia, he should not be able to go, period. So Johnny Gargano would make a good partner. I don't see that being a good idea, but that's just how one person feels. I still stand by what I said yesterday. But Gargano should have some kind of they should do like back in the 2002, 2003 brand split. They had when Rey Mysterio was making his debut for SmackDown, they started advertisements for him on Monday Night Raw, and they switched back between Raw and SmackDown. You didn't know what show he was going to be on immediately, so do something like that. Have Raw and SmackDown have video packages of Johnny Gargano, and you don't know which channel he's going on until a week or two before Backlash, or the week before Backlash, and that last one, and then at Backlash you could have him show up inside with Raw, inside with SmackDown, whichever one you want to go with. So that is going to be really interesting to see what goes on there. It could go either way. He's either banished from NXT or he gets his job back in NXT. We will have to wait and see. Moving on there, we had William Regal come out to make the huge announcement. Regal chants from the fans. He says, "Welcome to NXT. This is the brand. Week in and week out, we bring the best from around the world." So it is at NXT Takeover. We will be making the debut of the NXT North American Championship, just like the UK title has brought many great competitors from the United Kingdom. We have this title, which will represent the North America area and whatnot. My only problem is with the 6 men. You want to say, oh, this is for the North American. I'm not trying to be like nationalist or anything, or like being like one of those things. But you have Killian Dane, who is a Scotsman, in this match, and you want to make it represent North America. You couldn't found 6 North Americans. I'm not trying to say anything, but it's just like you had the UK Championship Tournament, which was just the guys from the United Kingdom. But yet you have Killian Dane, who's going to be in this 6-man, which I'm not mad about. I'm just pointing that out there that's just a little nitpick. That's nothing more, nothing less. EC3 makes his presence known. His theme music is, it's okay. It was okay. It starts out with it saying, I am of the 1%. And then it has this like little rap in his name, EC3 gets don't do there. I guess he's just EC3, no Ethan Carter III or any Ethan or what, like the E and C don't mean anything. He's just going to be EC3. Hypes NXT a little bit, expects the North American title to be handed to him. Regal says no one in NXT is handed anything, and says EC3 will be one of the six for the new title in a ladder match at NXT Takeover New Orleans. A big yes chant from the crowd, and then a thank you Regal. EC3 compliments that sentiment and says thank you Regal, and says at Takeover he will show that you can put 5 men, 10 men, the entire NXT locker in front of me, but I will show you and the world why I am in the top 1% of this industry. See, they changed his gimmick up a little bit, because in TNA, the 1% was not the 1% in the industry; it was the top 1% of the world. He's supposed to be a rich snob. Here in NXT, it's more. It seems like he's more of like I'm in the top 1% of the industry, as I am one of the best in the industry, instead of being like, I'm a rich snob, my aunt runs this business, runs this company, so I get what I want. So it feels like he's going to be more of a babyface here in NXT. Coming off of this first promo, it feels like he's more of a babyface, because he didn't complain, he didn't whine, he didn't bitch, he didn't moan. Oh, why don't you just hand me the title? Blah, 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 something like the old EC3 would be. This EC3 is like, fine, you want to put 5 guys in front of me? Fine, I'll go out there, I'll beat each and one of them, I'll climb that ladder, I'll take that title down, and I will win the match. Now, of course, throughout the night, Kathy Kelly was going to Regal, trying to find out who was going to be added into this match, which was Killian Dane, Velveteen Dream, Lars Sullivan, Adam Cole, and the final one at the end of the night was Ricochet, which, the way they just had it show up, it was pretty awesome. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But then we had TM61 was being interviewed about losing in the NXT Reveiw Tag Team Classic and what they need to do to rebound. And they were in a room in the Performance Center where there was this big window on the outside, and you could see Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon talking. It looked like they were about to talk. And the cameraman's like trying to ask them a final question, and he's like, "Oh, hold on, guys!" And he runs out of this room and sees these two as they're about ready to come to blows. Pretty much, they go to blows, and the camera guy pretty much gets knocked on his ass. So they're really showing the heat from these two. So I wonder what they're going to do next week for these two. I don't know. All I know is I'm pretty sure that Baszler is walking out of NXT with the Women's Championship. Then they show Almas and Vega making it to the arena, because there's supposed to be a big, face-off between him and his opponent for the night. For Takeover, and we will talk about that later. Street Profits versus the AOP for the NXT Reveiw Tag Team Classic, second round. Ford and Razor was started this. Ford started talking trash to Razor. Razor shoved him or slapped him, one of the two, I can't remember which one it was, and starts talking trash to some. Ford tags in and tags out and lets Dawkins in to take the heat. Ford, Dawkins starts taking a lot of this heat in this match, and then Ford, he gets back into it, and then Ford, for whatever reason, grabs his cup, gets down around the ringside area, and starts running back and forth, getting all excited and everything. Turns to the side and sees Paul Ellering there, and goes to hand him the cup. Paul Ellering looks like he's going to go grab the cup and just shoves it down. That, of course, gets Montez Ford a little heated, so, Ellering's backing up, like, looking like a chicken shit. It's like, you don't want to mess with me, or deal with me. Of course, in the ring, Angelo Dawkins is distracted and not paying attention to the AOP, so the next thing you know, while Ford is trying to get to Ellering up on the ramp, you have Dawkins getting hit with the last chapter for the pin, and your winners are the AOP. So honestly, I don't know why that match was so short, but it ended up being a very short match. Of course, after that, and of course they did announce the finals for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic will be next week. Kathy Kelly was in the back looking for Regal, and she asked him about the ladder match, and he says Adam Cole will be the third participant. And then the Velveteen Dream comes in and says, you broke ground with making this announcement, which they did not have the title in here tonight, which is fine. It'll be nice to see what this title actually looks like, and I hope William Regal is in the middle of the ring before, and it's not just hanging above. They need to do a little bit better than that. It should not be hanging above the ring. It should be like he shows it, and then it gets attached while all 6 men are in the ring, or before they get to the ring, but it's going to be nice to see what this title actually looks like. And then, of course, the Velveteen Dream here came in. He's like, that's a great thing. That's a great show. That's a great match. But it's not the experience the NXT Universe wants to see unless you add the Velveteen Dream to this match. William Regal agrees with the Velveteen Dream and puts him in the match. So at this time, when they had this, there has been 3 competitors added to this match. Lars Sullivan versus John Silver. Long John Silver, who was pretty much just murdered. He pretty much just got demolished. Like, I'm surprised this John Silver kid's even able to breathe after the beating he took from Lars Sullivan. So Lars Sullivan, of course, wins. Kathy Kelly is in the back again, looking for Regal. She was all over this show tonight. Lars Sullivan comes in the frame when she runs into Regal, and Regal invites him. Doesn't say you were in the match. He asks, I would like to invite you to the ladder match. Lars says that is going to be fantastic, and says, at Takeover, I'll be able to destroy people with not just my hands, but with a ladder. But I want Killian Dane. William Regal says Dane's in the ladder match too, so that's 4 and 5. We only have 1 guy left. Of course, we all know who that is. Regal puts Dane into the ladder match and says, also, you will face Killian Dane next week. Then Dakota Kai makes her way to the ring. Looks like she's going to have a match. Or is she? Before the match can even happen, they say there's an altercation out back, and we see an Aleister Black is getting his ass kicked by Andrade and Almas, who is just incensed. He's beating the holy hell out of him. Then, conveniently, there is a water cooler with some drinks in it, some bottles of water, and he opens it up and he dunks Aleister Black's head into this. Aleister Black got absolutely no offense in on this, like, at all. Like, it was a total beatdown from start to finish. There was no, you know how it is, I beat you down a little bit, then you make your comeback, and you beat me down a little bit, and then I beat you down again. And then, of course, the one or the other just stands tall. No, this was a complete mugging destruction of Aleister Black that you have not seen on NXT TV. I don't think Aleister Black himself, even when he was Tommy End, probably had a beating that he got as bad as he did tonight. It was just completely bad. He ended up beating the hell out of Aleister Black all the way into the ring. He grabbed the chair, hit him once in the back, opened the chair, spread it about put it over top of over Aleister Black, and just told him, "I am the champion. I am the champion. You will respect her." Pointing to Zelina Vega, "You will respect her," and held the title up, and that was that. Sanity versus Dunn tag team classic match. This was a pretty good match, back and forth match. This was hard hitting. Anything that has Pete Dunne in it in WWE or any wrestling organization will have Pete Dunne just manipulating the hell out of your body and making it a tough match to wrestle. The match comes to an end when a dragon knee in the corner, as they called it. Dunn tags in and they hit a double team. It looked like Roderick Strong threw him up and Dunn hit the bitter end for the 1, 2, 3. And your winners and moving on to face AOP next week are Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong. Now, my feeling on the end, this whole thing is, why is it these guys? I mean, Dunn and Strong are, like, you need to have teams for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I'm not a big fan of makeshift teams. Like, we had the very first Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classics 3 years ago, where it was Rhino and Baron Corbin versus Samoa Joe and Finn Balor, and of course Joe and Balor won. Last year was a little bit better because you actually had real tag teams in the finals. Now you have a real tag team and a tag team that was makeshift that now has a double team finisher. Give them a name, and then we can at least say, hey, they're closer to being an actual team. I don't like when you throw two guys together. I don't care if it's out of respect for each other or whatnot. I just don't like when you take a tag team tournament and the next thing you know, they're facing each other. They're facing each other 1 week, and the next thing you know, they're thrown together and they're winning tag team tournaments matches. It's just it puts a stain for me on tag team wrestling when you just throw two guys together who honestly have never really tagged together and just be like, there, everything's good. It just doesn't work for me. It doesn't fly well. But we will have the AOP versus Strong and Dunn next week, and that's about it that they had for those. Kathy Kelly, of course, went in the back. And before that, at the end of the match, Dunn and Strong Dunn actually wanted the fist bump Roderick Strong, and they did, and that was that. So the respect between those two and they're becoming more of a cohesive unit. Maybe if they were to win the tag team titles when this is all said and done, and maybe they'll come out like when the Lucha Dragons won the tag team titles. It was Kalisto and Sin Cara, but the very next NXT show that they were on, they became the Lucha Dragons. So maybe we'll have a tag team name for these guys if they were to win the tag team titles in the end. Before the show goes off the air, Kathy Kelly is in the back and she wants to know who is going to be the final man in the ladder match. Regal. She knocks on the door. Regal is like saying, "I just finalized the deal and I'll go get him for you." He closes the door and goes and gets the final man, and it turns out to be Ricochet. Now, all of these announcements in the back, besides this one, the crowd you didn't hear. Like, they didn't have the crowd volume whatsoever, so we didn't hear the reaction to the crowd. As soon as that door opened and it was Ricochet, they turned that crowd volume up so you could just hear the cheers from the crowd and the chants for Ricochet. So he just is like, "I'll see you in New Orleans," and walks off. So Ricochet, who has not officially on TV had a match yet, which I believe he may have one next week and hasn't been announced, or if they're not going to do that, he will make his debut at NXT Takeover in a match, which I think Apollo Crews maybe was the last person to do that. If not, it was Bobby Roode. Yeah, I think it was Bobby Roode actually was the last person to do that. So that can mean good things for somebody, and I guess EC3 too. So EC3 and Ricochet look to make their debuts in an NXT ring. Well, I shouldn't say debut for NXT. Well, Derek Bateman is the same person as EC3, but a actual debut as the character EC3, and Ricochet will make their debuts in an NXT ring on April 7th. That is going to be great. Now, with this 6-man ladder match, this is going to be one of the most unpredictable matches of the weekend from WrestleMania and NXT, because we all know we're pretty sure Aleister Black's going to win the title. Same thing with Shayna Baszler, and I think the Undisputed Era are going to end up retaining. I think it's a little too early, but I could be wrong because Bobby Fish is injured. And whoever's going to be the opponents, I think will probably win, even though I don't think it should be AOP. So I'm going to probably say Strong and Dunn are going to win these tag titles in the end. So all titles that are being defended, except for the UK, except for, of course, the North American title, are going to be changing hands. So quite honestly, I think all titles that already have, I honestly think every title between NXT TakeOver and WrestleMania 34, every single title, I could be wrong, but every single title that is currently held by somebody is going to change hands this weekend. And I think that would be a first for NXT and WWE Big Four at the same time, to have every title change hands that has a champion. Remember, we do have 2 titles that are currently not, one that's vacant and one that hasn't had a champion yet as well. But every single one of them. But this match, this 6-man match, is going to be the most unpredictable I think there is. Because it could be Ricochet, it could be EC3, it could be the Velveteen Dream, it could be Killian Dane. Well, I shouldn't say. I think Killian Dane is the only odd man out. I think everyone else, the other 5, could win this thing easily. So there is a lot that could be done for this match. And I'm excited to see what this title is going to look like. Will they bring a little bit of the NWA North American Championship, which is still an active title, by the way. There is another, even though they have the NXT North American title coming out, it's not the only North American title out there. There is the NWA North American title that was held by Jeff Jarrett in the Attitude Era in WWE back when they did the NWA Invasion, which worked for the NWA, but didn't do much for the WWE. But that was your NXT Takeover review. NXT review for March 28, 2017. We are 1 week away. We're 1 week away from NXT Takeover New Orleans, which is going to be one of, if not the best NXT Takeover of all time. Then, of course, we have WrestleMania the very next night. So it is going to be one busy week for content creators like me and all the other wrestling guys out there. So, my name is DeFrance. Find me on Twitter at DeFrance and on twitch.tv/DeFrance08 for much gaming and other news. I will see you guys on Saturday for Unscripted, where we talk about the Greatest Royal Rumble event. 3 matches have been named, as well as the possibility of new titles being leaked for the 205 Live division. Until then, I am getting out of here, and you guys have a wonderful night.